Hi guys, welcome back to The Dog That Saved Me. Today we are giving Remus a haircut. You ready? Wait for your haircut. Before we get started, I thought I'd show you guys my setup. I have 2 combs, a brush, the clipper set with all of the different attachments, and then the set of clippers themselves. Also on the other side of the table is a Walmart sack for me to just brush all of his excess hair off on. So Remus is getting his Sanitary haircut, trimmed back down, which for those of you who don't know, the Sanitary haircut is his face, his feet, his butt, and his underbelly. We're going to trim those down, brush everything out really nice, and then after he gets his haircut, he'll have a bath. Let's get started. Now I usually start with Remus's face, and I usually let him look at the clippers before we even get started. And then I pull, since I'm left-handed, I hold it in my left hand, but I pull both of his ear back, which I usually do both of them, almost like a bun. And then I start on the side of his face. I usually start on the left, then I'll do the left, and then I'll come back over to the right. The reason I pull his ears back is so he doesn't have wrinkles in his face. That way we can get a smooth, even cut and not nick any of his skin. Again, I'm not pulling hard, I'm just pulling enough to pull the skin back. He can still move around. I'm not forcing him to stay like this. As you can see, if he doesn't really like something, he's able to move around pretty freely. I try and rest his chin on the bottom of my head, that way he's less likely to look down. So we're going to get under here. And I'm barely holding him. If he wanted to get out of this, he could really easy. Come down here. Really, it's more like an L shape, just to hold his head there. Is all I'm doing. I'm just pulling this extra fur away. So we have about half of his face done. The part that he really doesn't like is around here, around his nose. So I'm going to try and get that part quickly. Okay. Now I'm going to gather up all these hairs, and I'm going to turn him around the other way so I can get the other side of his face. Okay. So now we're going to work on the other side of his face. Again, pulling his ears back and working from this side. I always go against the hair when I'm doing the really short cut because it gets a lot closer. And if he wanted to move, he could. You can pull out of this really easy. I'm holding it just gently enough to pull his skin back. I'm not pulling hard. I'm not forcing him to sit here like this. And like I said earlier, the part that's going to be difficult is the part closest to his snout. The bottom is towards his nose. And it looks like you guys can still see him laying down. So other side of his eye over here. Normally when I'm grooming him, he does like to lay down. Okay, this part I do have to hold a little bit tighter. So he does like to flinch. Alright, so you can see there's still some spots on his face and under his chin that we're going to have to get. So that's what we're going to work on next. Now for this part, I hold the top of his nose. And slide it in there quickly. And try to pull the skin back best I can. And let him have a break. You guys will notice I'm moving as he's moving. I'm not moving him, he is. Still helping hold him in place, but not forcing him. You guys can see I got back to his ear, came straight across, over to his eye. I've got his snout, got down his neckline on either side, underneath his chin, and in between his eyes. Now some people don't like to go back this far on their eyes, but I like to keep it back a little bit further to help keep the excess out of his eyes, plus it gives him these cute little eyebrows. So that is getting his face trimmed, which there's a few spots on his under lashes here that we're going to get really quick, and then we're going to move on to his feet. Alright, so now his face, his handsome face, is all nice and trimmed. Looking really nice. So next we're going to start working on his feet, which I believe, yeah, you guys can see just fine. He does not like his feet getting done. He'll probably lay down and avoid me doing it, but it has to be done. So to start with his feet, I start close to the front row of toes, and I just go back a little ways. It's already wanting to lay down, which is fine. I don't mind him laying down. Can you guys see? Okay, you guys can see. I go up to the last point where I trimmed. Alright. Now you don't want to go up too high on this because it'll look like they're wearing capris instead of they have feet. So now we're going to start going some of the longer hairs in between his toes. This is the part he really does not like. Which is so far so good, right? Get in between their toes, around their toenails. Get as much of that hair as possible. Alright, so while he's getting fidgety, we're going to go ahead and do his underbelly. The way I do their underbelly is I have them stand up on both paws, and then I quickly trim under here. And since he's being a little more fidgety this time than he was last time, it's getting to be a little difficult. Alright, so he's struggling, so I'm going to let him have a break. It's always good to go at their pace. I know sometimes that can be really frustrating, but going at their pace definitely helps make the session less stressful on him, and it also helps make future grooming sessions less stressful. His front paws are looking alright. They're not perfect, but they're alright. Alright. Start working on his back paws. Remus usually ends up laying down during this, and then he'll start fighting me, and then I start really getting in between his toes. For some reason, he hates it. Now it's important that if you're starting to groom your dog for the first time, really take it at their pace. Do just part of the haircut that you're going to do, just to get them used to it, get them used to the sound of the clippers, the way the clippers feel against their skin. A good thing to do is just set it on their skin like this and let them get used to the feeling of it and the sound, and then slowly clip. Alright, now we just gotta do, now this one's the hardest one because he wants to move. I hold onto his tail, but I don't pull on his tail. Which it's only been a week and a half since I did this last time, and he already had some poop filled up on here. I am not a professional groomer. This is just what I've learned how to do with my own dogs. I have been grooming my own dogs for about 6 years now, so I do have a little bit of practice at it, but again, I'm not a professional groomer. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope that you learned something. If I completely butchered teaching how to give a sanitary cut, please let me know in the comments. Maybe give me some tips on things that you've learned. If this has helped you, let me know as well. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. I love you. I'll see you next time.